Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel, Raja Gogasikotar 1719. Have you ever felt the ground tremble beneath your feet? A moment when the earth itself seems alive, shaking, roaring, breaking everything it created over millions of years. That is the terrifying beauty of an earthquake. An invisible force that shapes our planet, and sometimes ends civilizations. Welcome to earthquakes, the unseen power beneath our feet. A journey into the most violent natural phenomenon on Earth. From ancient legends to cutting-edge science, from destruction to rebirth, this is the story of Earth's restless heart. Have you ever felt that eerie silence before disaster strikes? The birds stop singing, the air turns still, and then a low, distant rumble begins to rise from deep within the ground. In a single moment, everything changes. The earth, the same ground that has held us for millions of years, begins to move. Walls shudder. The floor beneath your feet twists like waves in the ocean. The sound is deafening, a roar that feels alive. People scream, buildings collapse, and the world turns into chaos. But what exactly is happening beneath us when the earth begins to shake? Why does something so strong, the ground we walk on, suddenly turn into something so fragile? The truth lies deep within the heart of our planet. The Earth's crust, the outermost layer where we live, isn't one solid shell. It's made up of giant puzzle pieces called tectonic plates. And these plates are constantly moving, floating on molten rock like ice sheets drifting on fire. They move just a few centimeters a year, barely noticeable to us, but unstoppable in their power. When two plates collide, grind, or slide past each other, they build up enormous stress over time. And when that tension becomes too much, the earth can no longer hold it in. It snaps. The ground ruptures. Energy explodes outward in waves, and in that instant, the world trembles. An earthquake is not just a shake of the ground, it's a heartbeat of the planet. A reminder that beneath our calm cities and silent nights, Earth is alive, restless, powerful, and unpredictable. Every earthquake, whether small or mighty, is a whisper from the depths, a message that this planet we call home is still shaping itself and us. Every earthquake tells a story written deep beneath the surface, where the earth hides its secrets. When we look around, everything feels still: mountains, oceans, cities. But beneath that stillness, our planet is constantly moving, breathing, and shifting, a living, dynamic system of unimaginable energy. At the heart of every earthquake lies a hidden fracture in the Earth's crust, known as a fault line. This is where two tectonic plates meet, and where the real drama begins. For years, these plates push and grind against each other. Their movement is slow, so slow that we never notice. But with every passing second, pressure builds an invisible force, waiting for the perfect moment to unleash its fury. Then, suddenly, something gives. The rocks can no longer take the strain. They snap. In that instant, stored energy bursts outward as seismic waves, racing through the ground faster than sound, rippling through everything they touch. The point underground where the earthquake begins is called the focus, the birthplace of destruction. Directly above it, on the surface, lies the epicenter, the spot where people feel the quake most violently. As the waves travel outward, they twist, shake, and roll the land in different directions. First come the P waves, fast but gentle, a subtle warning, often unnoticed. Then follow the S waves, slower and far more destructive, rattling everything with raw power. And finally, the surface waves, which move like ripples across a pond. They are what make the ground heave and sway, turning solid earth into a rolling sea. Scientists use instruments called seismographs to capture these waves and measure their strength. Decades ago, they used the Richter scale, but today, they rely on something even more accurate, the moment magnitude scale. Here's the incredible part. Each step up on this scale means the quake releases 32 times more energy. So a magnitude 7 earthquake is not just one step stronger than a 6. It's a force 32 times greater. A single number, but a difference between mild shaking and total devastation. These numbers may sound cold and scientific, but behind every reading lies a human story of fear, courage, and survival. Because science doesn't just measure destruction, it helps us understand it. And understanding is the first step toward protection. Every tremor, every aftershock, is not just a random act of nature. It's the earth reminding us of its ancient rhythm. It's the planet talking in the language of energy and motion, a conversation that began billions of years ago, and one that will continue long after us. Long before science, before seismographs and satellites, human beings looked to the heavens and the depths to understand the shaking of the earth. Imagine living thousands of years ago. No modern cities, no technology, only the stars above and the soil beneath your feet. And then one night, the ground moves. Your home collapses, mountains roar, oceans rise. How would you explain it? To our ancestors, earthquakes were not natural events. They were divine messages, a sign that gods were angry or restless. In ancient Japan, people believed a massive catfish named Namazu lived deep beneath the islands. When this creature thrashed its tail, the ground would shake violently. And even today, the image of Namazu is a powerful symbol of earthquakes in Japanese folklore, a reminder that nature's fury has a spirit of its own. Across the ocean in Greece, they had their own belief. It was Poseidon, god of the sea, a mighty deity with a trident so powerful that when he struck the ground, the earth trembled. They called him Enosixthon, earth shaker. In India, the ancients spoke of the cosmic serpent, Shesha, who carries the world upon his many heads. When Shesha moved, the world quaked. Some legends even tell of the great Kurma avatar, Lord Vishnu's turtle form, holding up the mountains, and when it shifted, the land above would tremble. In South America, the Inca civilization believed that earthquakes were the anger of Pachamama, the Earth Mother. Whenever humans forgot to honor her or disrespected nature, she would shake the land to remind them of her power. From Rome to China, from Africa to Polynesia, every ancient culture had its own story. Different names, same fear, same wonder. And maybe they weren't entirely wrong. Because even though science tells us it's tectonic movement, there's still something deeply mysterious about the way the Earth moves. Something that feels almost alive. For centuries, these myths helped people make sense of destruction. They turned fear into faith and chaos into meaning. They built temples, offered prayers, and sought peace with the forces beneath their feet. Today, we understand the science, but perhaps we've lost that spiritual connection with nature. The ancients may not have had technology, but they had something powerful: respect for the Earth's soul. When the ground trembled, they didn't just see it as a disaster. They saw it as a conversation between humans and the planet. And maybe, just maybe, that's a conversation we still need to listen to. Throughout human history, There have been moments when the Earth reminded us of its unimaginable power, moments when entire cities vanished, civilizations crumbled, and silence followed the sound of destruction. These are not just stories from textbooks. They are chapters of human pain, courage, and survival. Let's travel through time to the days when the ground itself rewrote history. The Shanxi Tragedy. China, 1556. It was the year 1556, a calm winter night in Shanxi Province, China. People were asleep in their cave homes, carved into soft cliffs. Then, without warning, the earth roared. Walls collapsed, mountains split apart, and in a matter of seconds, the world turned to dust. Nearly 830,000 people perished the deadliest earthquake ever recorded. The land itself changed forever, and so did humanity's understanding of its fragility. The Great Lisbon Earthquake, Portugal, 1755. Fast forward to November 1st, 1755, the day of All Saints' Feast in Lisbon, Portugal. Churches were filled with candles and prayers. Then the ground began to shake, not once, not twice, but for 6 endless minutes. Buildings fell, fires broke out, and moments later, a monstrous tsunami struck the coast. Tens of thousands died. Lisbon, one of Europe's most glorious cities, was reduced to ash and ruins. Philosophers like Voltaire questioned faith itself after this tragedy. How could a just God allow such destruction? The earthquake didn't just destroy buildings, it shattered beliefs. San Francisco, the city that burned, 1906. April 18, 1906. San Francisco, USA. A bustling city of dreams and gold rush prosperity. At 5:12 in the morning, the ground cracked open. Bridges twisted, streets split apart, and fires erupted everywhere. For 3 days, flames devoured the city. More than 3,000 lives were lost, and 80% of San Francisco was destroyed. Yet from the ashes, the city rose again, a symbol of human resilience against nature's might. The Great Chile Earthquake, 1960. Then came May 22nd, 1960, the most powerful earthquake ever measured, magnitude 9.5 in Chile. The shaking lasted for over 10 minutes. Tsunamis crossed the Pacific, reaching as far as Japan and the Philippines. Over 1,600 people died, and millions were left homeless. This was not just an earthquake, it was the earth itself roaring with unmatched force. The Indian Ocean. Tsunami 2004. It was a calm morning after Christmas, December 26, 2004. Families were on beaches, children laughing, tourists sunbathing. Then the ocean pulled back. The sea vanished from the shore, a warning that few understood. Moments later, walls of water up to 30 meters high rushed toward the land. Triggered by a 9.1 magnitude earthquake off the coast of Sumatra, the tsunami swept through 14 countries, killing more than 230,000 people. Entire villages disappeared. But amidst despair, the world came together, millions united to help survivors rebuild their lives. Japan's darkest day, 2011, March 11, 2011, a date forever marked in Japan's history. At 2:46 p.m., a magnitude 9.0 earthquake struck off the coast of Tohoku. Within minutes, a tsunami followed, crashing through towns, airports, and farmlands. Over 18,000 people lost their lives, and as if that wasn't enough, the waves crippled the Fukushima nuclear plant, causing one of the worst nuclear disasters in history. Yet, Even in devastation, Japan showed unmatched discipline and strength. People stood in line for food, shared what little they had, and rebuilt, brick by brick. Echoes of the Earth. Every earthquake tells the same truth, that no matter how powerful we become, we are still guests on this restless planet. From the caves of Shanxi to the coasts of Japan, the Earth has shaken, destroyed, and rebuilt itself countless times. Each tremor is a reminder that beneath our feet lies a power older than life itself, a power that gives and takes away. And while buildings may fall and cities may vanish, the spirit of humanity always rises from the rubble. Earthquakes strike without mercy, without warning, or do they? For centuries, humans have searched for signs, whispers from the earth itself, hints that tremors are coming. And sometimes, these signs are real. Some animals seem to sense the danger first. Dogs bark endlessly, cats hide in corners, and birds take sudden flight. Ancient people noticed these behaviors and believed the creatures could feel the Earth's energy shifting. Today, science has begun to confirm that animals can detect vibrations far below what humans can feel. Rivers and wells can also offer clues. Water levels rise and fall mysteriously. The ground may subtly tilt or crack. Tiny tremors, too small for people to notice, often precede a major quake, nature's secret messages waiting for us to interpret. Modern science has taken this further. Seismographs measure the smallest quakes, called foreshocks, capturing movements invisible to the human eye. Satellites track the shifting of tectonic plates from space, and GPS technology maps the Earth's slow, almost imperceptible movements. Even artificial intelligence is now joining the effort. Algorithms analyze vast amounts of data, tiny vibrations, historical patterns, underground pressure changes, all to predict where a quake might strike next. Yet, despite all our technology, one truth remains. We cannot predict exactly when an earthquake will hit. The Earth does not follow calendars or schedules. Its rhythm is ancient, mysterious, and beyond human control. What we can do, however, is prepare. Engineers design earthquake-resistant buildings. Early warning systems alert millions of people in seconds. Communities practice drills, families have evacuation plans, and governments create emergency protocols. Even a few seconds warning can save thousands of lives. Every tremor, every aftershock, every tiny shift beneath the ground is part of a conversation, a message from the Earth to its inhabitants. It tells us to respect its power, to study it, and to live in harmony with it. Because while we may never fully control earthquakes, we can learn to live with them, to anticipate, to survive, and to rebuild. The Earth is speaking, and it's up to us to listen. After the ground stops shaking and the dust begins to settle, a different kind of force emerges, the incredible strength of the human spirit. Earthquakes may destroy homes, roads, and cities, but they can never break hope. Amid the chaos and rubble, stories of courage, sacrifice, and resilience rise like a beacon. In Haiti, when the 2010 earthquake struck, families pulled strangers from collapsed buildings with bare hands. Neighbors shared food, water, and shelter, creating communities out of what little remained. In Nepal, after the 2015 quake, mountain villages inaccessible by road were reached by volunteers who trekked for days just to deliver medicine and supplies. And in Japan, during the devastating 2011 Tohoku quake, people formed orderly lines for food, shared blankets, and cared for the elderly, even as their homes were washed away by the tsunami. These stories are reminders. While the earth may shake, crumble, and destroy, humans have an extraordinary ability to rise above tragedy. The rubble becomes more than debris. It becomes a stage for heroism, for solidarity, for compassion. We see firefighters, medics, volunteers, and ordinary people risking their lives to save strangers. Every life rescued, every hand extended, is proof that hope can survive even the most violent tremors. And yet, earthquakes also teach us patience and humility. They remind us that rebuilding is not just about bricks and mortar. It is about healing communities, restoring trust, and creating bonds that last far longer than any building. Because the greatest earthquake-proof structure of all is not made of steel or concrete. It is the human heart. In the face of nature's most unpredictable force, humanity shows its greatest strength, the ability to endure, to rebuild, and to rise again and again. No matter how powerful the tremor, no matter how wide the destruction, hope trembles back resilient, unwavering, and unstoppable. For centuries, earthquakes have been unpredictable, unstoppable, and devastating. But today, humanity is learning to listen, to study, and even to prepare like never before. The future of earthquake science is no longer just about understanding. It's about prevention and protection. Engineers and scientists are designing earthquake-resistant buildings that sway without breaking, bridges that bend without collapsing, and infrastructure that can absorb the planet's raw energy. Cities in earthquake-prone regions like Tokyo, San Francisco, and Mexico City are becoming living examples of resilience. Technology is transforming our ability to respond. Early warning systems can now detect the first tremors of an earthquake and send alerts across entire cities in seconds. These few seconds, the blink of an eye, can mean the difference between life and death. Smart sensors monitor bridges, roads, and buildings in real time, shutting down gas lines, trains, and electricity to prevent secondary disasters. Artificial intelligence analyzes centuries of seismic data, spotting patterns invisible to humans, and predicting where stress is building deep underground. Even beyond Earth, we are expanding our knowledge. Seismometers on the Moon, Mars, and other planets help scientists understand how quakes form, how energy travels, and how the forces of the universe shape planetary surfaces. Yet, despite all the advances, one truth remains: the Earth cannot be tamed. It cannot be fully controlled. Our task is not to fight it, but to coexist with it. And coexistence means preparation, understanding, and respect. It means designing homes that survive, communities that respond, and systems that protect lives before the ground shakes. The future is not about eliminating earthquakes. It is about living safely with their power. It is about turning knowledge into action, fear into courage, and destruction into survival. Because while we cannot stop the Earth from moving, we can ensure that when it does, humanity stands stronger than ever before. We often think of earthquakes as a force unique to our planet, a terrifying reminder of Earth's restless power. But the truth is, the universe itself trembles. Even other worlds experience quakes. On the Moon, seismometers left by the Apollo missions recorded strange vibrations called moonquakes. Some were small and subtle, barely moving the ground, while others shook with surprising intensity, proof that the Moon is not a quiet, lifeless rock, but a world with its own inner motion. Mars, too, has its secrets. NASA's InSight lander detected Marsquakes, subtle tremors traveling deep through the Martian crust. Though smaller than most earthquakes, they reveal that Mars is geologically alive. Its ground is shifting, its crust is cooling, and energy is moving a silent rhythm that echoes the forces shaping planets across the cosmos. Even icy moons, like Europa and Enceladus, are suspected of trembling beneath their frozen surfaces. Tides from their parent planets, like Jupiter and Saturn, stretch and stress their icy shells, causing cracks and quakes, and perhaps even creating environments that could harbor life. These interplanetary tremors remind us of something profound. Earthquakes are not merely disasters. They are a natural consequence of a planet's life, its heartbeat, its evolution. When we study these quakes beyond Earth, we are not just learning about rocks and plates. We are learning about the forces that shape worlds, the power that creates mountains, oceans, and valleys, and the restless energy that has existed for billions of years. The universe is alive with movement, from the tiniest tremor beneath our feet to the shaking of distant moons. The cosmos itself is a stage of forces beyond imagination, and Earth is just one of many worlds dancing to that rhythm. Every quake on another planet teaches us a lesson about life on our own. It reminds us that movement is natural, energy is eternal, and even in chaos, there is a pattern, a heartbeat, that connects us to the very forces that created the universe. Earthquakes are more than natural disasters. They are teachers. They remind us of the planet's power, its ancient energy, and its unstoppable force. Every tremor, every rumble, every aftershock carries a lesson about survival, adaptation, and respect. The Earth teaches patience. Tectonic plates shift at a pace far slower than a human lifetime. Yet the energy they store can change the world in seconds. This reminds us that nature operates on its own timeline, and human ambition must sometimes bow to its rhythm. Earthquakes teach humility. No matter how advanced our technology, no matter how tall our buildings or wide our empires, we are still at the mercy of the ground beneath our feet. A momentary shift can erase centuries of human achievement. Earthquakes teach resilience. Across the globe, after every disaster, humans rebuild, recover, and rise again. Communities learn from mistakes, improve safety, and teach future generations to respect both the Earth and its energy. But perhaps the most profound lesson is this: destruction and creation are two sides of the same coin. Quakes break, yet they also shape. Mountains rise, valleys form, rivers change course. The Earth reshapes itself constantly, and humanity must learn to adapt alongside it. These lessons extend beyond geology. They speak to how we live, how we plan, and how we value life. They remind us to prepare, to care for each other, and to approach our world with humility and reverence. In every tremor, there is a story of energy, of force, of survival. And in listening to that story, we learn not just about earthquakes, but about ourselves, our fragility, our strength, and our connection to the living planet beneath us. Because earthquakes are not only a warning, they are a conversation. A conversation we must hear, respect, and respond to. The ground beneath us feels solid, unyielding, permanent. But in reality, it is alive, restless, shifting, and full of energy. Earthquakes remind us of a simple truth. We are not masters of the Earth, we are its guests. From the tiniest tremor to the most devastating quake, from ancient legends to modern science, one message echoes clearly across time and space. The Earth is speaking. It speaks in energy, in movement, in the rumble beneath our feet. It warns us, challenges us, and teaches us about patience, humility, resilience, and respect. We have learned to study it, to predict its patterns, to prepare, to survive, and to rebuild. Yet no matter how much we advance, we will never fully control the forces that shape our planet. But that is not a reason for fear. It is a reason for awe. To witness the Earth move is to witness its heartbeat, its power, its majesty. And within that majesty lies a lesson about ourselves. Humans are fragile, yes, but also incredibly resilient. Even in the face of destruction, we rise, we rebuild, we care for each other, we find hope in the rubble. So, the next time the ground trembles, listen carefully. It is not just a disaster, it is a conversation. A reminder that life on this planet is dynamic, precious, and fleeting. A reminder that we are alive and that survival depends on awareness, preparation, and respect. Earthquakes may shake our world, but they also remind us of our place in it. The Earth moves, trembles, and transforms, and so do we. In the end, understanding the Earth is not just science, it is wisdom, it is humility, it is connection. The Earth speaks. Are we listening? So friends, this was today's amazing information. Hope you liked this video and learned something new. If you found the video interesting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you again in the next video with another new and surprising thing. Until then, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay tuned to learn. Jai Goga Sikatar Ma.